Mayor of St. Elsewhere with a new batch of rookie residents.
This is stupid. No, this is the morgue. You're not paying attention.
But when tragedy strikes, guest star Michael Learned must make a life-or-death decision.
You have no right to play God, Sister Monica.
What do you think you're doing?
St. Elsewhere, the season premiere, Wednesday of Sneak Week on NBC.
I'm Paul Majors.
And I'm Marty Burns-Wolf. Coming up on News 11, after pounding the Carolinas, Hurricane Diana is now Tropical Storm Diana, but the danger's not over yet.
One of America's most famous fugitives turns himself in after 9 years on the run. Also tonight, farmers from all over the Midwest roll into Wilmer to protest what they call a pitiful situation.
And on tonight's News 11 Extra, a talk with the nation's second-in-command, an exclusive interview with Vice President George Bush. News 11 is next.
The flavor I love best.
Wholesome real cheese.
The texture so supreme.
Real cheese is made from real milk.
The taste that's dairy fresh.
With no artificial flavors.
Oh no, you can't take that away from me.
Imitation cheese doesn't stack up to the pure, natural goodness of real cheese.
Oh no, you can't take that away.
Make your meal sing with real cheese.
There are 25 million dying furnaces in America. We'll buy up yours. When you buy a new energy-saving furnace from a participating Carrier dealer. For all details, call 1-800-CARRIER. Quickly.
Burlington Coat Factory is now open with fabulous savings on name brand clothing.
The coats are fantastic. The sportswear department is really nice. They have name brand things at good low prices.
I just can't believe the prices that they have, and I'm going to buy 2 or 3 shirts right now.
I've never seen this many coats before.
Okay.
Yeah.
The prices are excellent. I would say they're probably almost half of what I see in the stores.
Save on coats, sportswear, children's clothing, and menswear at Burlington Coat Factory.
From the Twin Cities Action Center, News 11, your new choice for news. With Paul Majors, Diana Pierce, Tom Ryder on sports, and meteorologist Paul Douglas.
Good evening. Topping tonight's News 11, the hurricane may be over, but the danger isn't.
Hurricane Diana is now Tropical Storm Diana, and though her winds have diminished, more trouble may lie ahead.
The rain continues to fall on the Carolina coast tonight, and winds are at 50 miles an hour, but that's nothing compared to earlier today. From Myrtle Beach, South Carolina to Wilmington, North Carolina, Diana has done $20 million worth of damage so far. Trees tumbled into homes and cars, and roofs were ripped off houses and businesses, and more than 30,000 people are without power. But only 2 deaths are being attributed to the hurricane because most people had evacuated the areas hardest hit. However, some came back to see the damage and became hostage to the hurricane's force.
Had trouble getting back over the bridge yesterday, so we decided to stay and then really waited too late to get out.
The National Guard is at work tonight helping to clear debris and return some form of order. Paul Douglas will have more on where Diana is expected to go a little later in the newscast. Indian activist Dennis Banks, convicted in 1975 of assault and rioting, is behind bars tonight after being on the run for almost a decade. Banks, one of the co-founders of the American Indian movement, turned himself in today to authorities in Rapid City, South Dakota. In 1973, Banks led a protest at the Custer County Courthouse because a white man who stabbed an Indian was not charged with murder. The protest became a riot. He later led the 71-day occupation of Wounded Knee, in which one Indian was killed in a shootout. Banks fled to Oregon, California, and finally New York to an Indian reservation that offered sanctuary. But today, Banks said he was tired of running.
I just hope that whatever happens, it will be that my family and I will be able to be free soon.
Banks will be sentenced in a couple of weeks. He's facing 15 years in prison. The owner of a bankrupt Rice County grain elevator has been accused of swindling more than $63 million from farmers. Phyllis LaVon Kern has been charged with 8 counts of theft by swindle. She allegedly took in grain for storage, then sold it and pocketed the money. According to the state attorney general, Kern stored the grain in 1981 and 82 and sold it without the farmers knowing it.
Well, hundreds of farmers and their families were in Wilmer tonight to protest what they feel are unfair conditions. Conditions that are forcing farmers out of business. They are demanding lower interest rates and better prices for their crops. Melissa Young has been with them all day and has this report.
Nearly 200 tractors, trucks, and cars weaved their way through Wilmer tonight. Some of these farmers traveled hundreds of miles to be part of this tractorcade, which they say illustrates the problems facing farmers across the state and the nation. This protest was staged to get the farmers' message out to the public and government officials. They say they're not looking for a handout, just enough help to keep their farms going.
All we're saying is don't throw these farmers off their land. Let them stay there and produce, do the best they can. Let's turn this economic situation around to where they can make a profit.
What makes this protest different from others is the feeling of community in its approach. Organizers are part of a group called U Solidarity, which brings farmers, businessmen, and bankers together to deal with their common problems.
We've tried the government, all kinds of agencies, and that has never worked. And I feel now it's up to people, farmers, businessmen, truckers, anybody that lives in rural America. I believe we've got to try to do something ourselves.
Every 3 farmers takes 1 business in a small rural area, and we can't afford to lose them, because at that point we lose our churches and schools and everything.
A crowd of well over 500 people turned out at the rally to show their support for the cause. And farm organizers believe as their numbers grow, eventually someone will have to listen. Melissa Young, News 11 in Wilmer.
And Minnesota farmers will produce crops that are better than the national average this year, but they will earn less money for their efforts. Nearly 1,000 farmers toured the University of Minnesota's Agricultural Experiment Station in Waseca. They were told about the latest techniques to preserve their land and produce higher yields. But it is the bottom line that has farmers worried.
Plagued with the high interest and the strong dollar, break even at best. And those who are paying a lot of interest, they're going to go backwards a little more.
It's really sad when a farmer produces really a terrific crop and yet is not able to generate good revenue from it. And he's really under a financial squeeze.
University experts say the strong dollar is pricing American grain out of foreign markets and that prices for corn and soybeans could be 10 to 20% below last year's.
Senior citizens across the nation are demanding answers about Medicare. Save Medicare rallies were held in several communities today, including St. Paul. Many of those rallies took on an anti-Reagan tone. At one rally, the Medicare program was in a coffin, and President Reagan's policies were accused of killing it. In St. Paul, senior citizens went to the Reagan and Mondale campaign headquarters to demand solutions to the Medicare problem. Andrea Shane has that story.
Armed with petitions and placards, the group of about 60 senior citizens left the Mondale campaign headquarters for the Reagan offices. They had just come from a chat with a campaign worker who was able to answer most of their questions on Mondale's stand on Medicare issues. But when they got to the Reagan headquarters, it was a different story.
Will you oppose further increases in co-payments, deductibles, or other out-of-pocket charges in Medicare beyond current law?
There is no way that I will stand here and try to answer these questions for the president. But I could certainly have gotten the answers for you if you would have let me know ahead of time what the questions were.
Lear went on to tell the seniors she felt she had been set up. She promised to have someone provide the answers at a bipartisan hearing on Medicare next month. The seniors left, still demanding that in a time of huge budget deficits and increased military spending, they get their fair share of the Medicare pie. Andrea Shane, News 11.
Still ahead tonight, another train accident. This time an Amtrak train leaves the lines near Winona.
And leave the oranges in Florida. At least that's what the federal government says. And we'll tell you why when we come back. Paul?
Well, Marty, Diana is dying. We'll take a look at Tropical Storm Diana, show you a frosty air mass aimed at Minnesota, and take a peek at tonight's moonrise. You won't believe your eyes. Coming up, Tom.
All right, Paul, in sports, we're going to show you how to win some money and take you fishing with Kent Herbeck. Marty?
Well, on tonight's News 11 Extra, an exclusive interview with the Vice President of the United States. That and more when we come back.
Boys, no hands this time.
You betcha, Marion.
Ken, Cloud, Minnesota's truckload sale is on. You betcha, Jared. Truckload savings on wallpaper like pre-pasted paper starting at $1. These fabric-backed solid vinyls are just $2. Cloud, Minnesota has selection and value with over 800 patterns in stock. Truckload savings on paneling priced from $2.97. Level or custom window blinds are on sale too at 40% off. Cloud, Minnesota's truckload sale.
Will you boys stop with the
Number one because we give value.
Found just what you want at just the right price. Go spread the word.
During double discount days at Midway Ford, we have over 60 pickup trucks available with double discount savings. Big sale savings as much as $1,520 on America's best-selling truck, which means you can own a fully equipped 84 Ford truck for as little as $7,310, but only for a limited time and only at Midway Ford.
Oh yeah, Midway Ford is the talk of the town.
Now that it's a new TV season, maybe it's time you thought about a new TV. Well, Sears is having a sale. This 19-inch color set has electronic quartz tuning, channel touch selection, and it's 112-channel cable ready. It was $499.99. Now it's $349.99. But please don't think that's all. We have lots of sets on sale at such good prices, you might even want to take one home.
There's more for your life at Sears.
I deal in used electronics. Business is kind of slow, but just you wait till I get all those personal computers people are going to buy but never really use. If it was me, I'd go to Computerland and get the Works. The Works is a plan where you're going to buy the right computer and get the most out of it, or you get your money back. Guaranteed. Oh, so you can either do business with Computerland or with me. I don't give money back to no one.
Another Amtrak accident, this one near Winona. The superliner heading from St. Paul to Milwaukee and Chicago ran into the arm of a track maintenance machine this morning. The machine's retractable arm was out far enough that it ripped into the fuel tanks on the train's engine. Firefighters hosed down the tanks to avoid a fire, and none of the 155 passengers were injured in the accident.
Topping tonight's Datelines, Pope John Paul continues to urge governments to make jobs their top priority. Pontiff was in New Brunswick today, an area with high unemployment. During a mass, he attacked the present race for profit and once again said human needs should come first. The Pontiff today also praised the French Acadian people. They'd been deported from the eastern Canada area in the 18th century by the English. Their Roman Catholic religion had been suppressed. Today, Pope John Paul congratulated them for keeping their faith. In the Philippines, 15,000 people have been evacuated because the Mayon volcano is acting up. The volcano is spewing ash and steam, and lava is making its way down the side of the volcano. It began erupting on Sunday, but so far there have been no casualties. And in Florida, some very bad news for citrus growers. The federal government today stopped all shipments of citrus from the state. The embargo comes as an effort to stop the spread of citrus canker, a highly contagious bacterial disease that affects citrus plants. The only way to destroy the disease is to burn the affected plants, and today crews were out doing just that.
Well, you know, we had a lovely day, and I hear rumors that we are having a lovely night out there.
It feels wonderful out there. We have some good news and some bad news in the weather department. The good news is we are on the brink of a brand new weekend. The bad news is...
Now, wait a minute. That's
profound,
not weather.
Profound. The bad news is you may have trouble finding the mercury in your backyard thermometer by Saturday morning. Mother Nature is going to throw us a cold shoulder and a chilled kneecap and an icy elbow that Jack Frost could pay us a visit to by Saturday morning, about 2 weeks prematurely. But the big story is still Diana. She is still throwing an atmospheric temper tantrum right now over the Carolinas. She's no longer a hurricane. She is a tropical storm. Remember last night we told you that hurricanes get their strength, their incredible energy from warm ocean water. When they pass over land, they literally starve for moisture and energy, and they gradually begin to weaken. This is a satellite sequence taken since 5 o'clock this morning. You can see Diana generally moving in a northwesterly direction, and she's beginning to weaken and fall apart across southeastern North Carolina. Winds are still gusting up to 50 miles an hour. The big danger now will be rains, as much as 10 to 15 inches of rain across the Carolinas and southern Virginia. And Diana could spin up a whole slew of tornadoes over the next 24 hours. As you can see on radar, the rain continues to fall over the Carolinas. We also have a tropical depression in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico, packing 35-mile-an-hour winds moving into central Mexico. Chances are it will not strengthen into a tropical storm. But the Gulf and the Atlantic coming alive now. So much for storms and depressions. We will experience a bit of a Canadian depression over the next couple of days. Temperatures averaging some 15 degrees below normal by Saturday morning. Sorry, we just report this stuff. We don't make this stuff. Earlier today in the backyard, there was enough sunshine for a high of 70 after a low of 61. Precipitation, none to speak of, and the sun set at 7:28. In the backyard now, some moonshine. It's clear and 56. A northwest wind at 9. The dew point quite low at 46. The humidity 69%. And the barometer 30 and 19, and it's currently on the rise. According to the National Weather Service, there's about a 6 in 10 chance of below normal temperatures over the Great Lakes states for the next 30 days. Above normal temperatures predicted for the west. Near normal temperatures predicted for most of Minnesota and Wisconsin. But again, temperatures right through Sunday will average as much as 10 to 15 degrees below normal. Upper-level winds will be howling from Reindeer and Great Slave Lake in northern Canada. And all this cool air is going to lap southward. It's already 48 up at International Falls, 46 degrees in Grand Forks, 57 last hour in the Twin Cities. Huge thunderstorms over the Central Plains states. A few showers as close to us as central South Dakota. A few of these showers will graze southern Minnesota later tonight and tomorrow. The weather map tomorrow is going to show that storm system sliding off just to our south. Lots of showers from the Twin Cities on south and east. This fair weather high will be in control right through the weekend. We'll tell you what that will mean for us coming up in just 2 minutes.
Chrysler Plymouth has. Get factory-to-dealer incentives on 135 brand new 84s. It's the incredible cash discount clearance at Roseville, Chrysler's discount headquarters. Plus, a one-price sale on 25 front-wheel drive Horizons. Not as low as, not beginning at, not from $64.91. They're all $64.91. And every new car is backed by Chrysler's 5-year, 50,000-mile protection plan. You'll never again buy a brand new car at these low prices. Bigger savings by far at the Big Star. Roseville Chrysler Plymouth, about 5 minutes north of the Dome, 35W North, Roseville.
It's the biggest twist of summer, the biggest splash, the freshest flowers, the loudest laugh. It's summer's highest flying, it's summer's biggest prize. It's the great big Pepsi IMAX, you won't believe your eyes. Another summer season on summer's biggest stage, the biggest day of summer, no matter what your age. It's a laugh going up, it's a scream coming down. It's the biggest family day around.
This is your office. Uh-huh. Frank's there. Oh, hi, Frank. This is me. Woohoo! Nice office. Out here is a computer. Everyone gets a terminal, gym, No personal computers? Oh, they all get more than that. Get the NCR Tower. It's faster and more powerful than a personal computer. And all 12 of us can hook up to it more economically. Some computer. Don't forget the door. Of course.
The NCR Tower, when you need more than a personal computer.
Just how absorbent are Viva paper towels? Watch. When it comes to absorbency, Viva's the paper towel you can love. Because Viva's really a paper sponge. Incredible as it sounds, Viva absorbs as much as this sponge. So Viva sponges up those heartbreaking spills, sponges up life's minor catastrophes. For absorbency, you'll love Viva, the paper sponge.
One of the nice things about doing the weather from the backyard is from time to time I get to take in a moonrise. And for those of you that missed it, this is what the harvest moon looked like a couple of hours ago as it rose at about 9:08 this evening. I know it's getting late. I know you're getting groggy. The tube is becoming blurry and fuzzy. But take this real simple quiz. Is the moon larger when it's just coming up on the horizon or when it reaches the zenith directly overhead? Now think about that. If you guessed bigger on the horizon, you are absolutely wrong. It only appears larger at moonrise. It is an optical illusion. For some strange, bizarre reason, our brains perceive the horizon as closer than the zenith, right overhead. And in order to keep things to scale and perspective, our minds make the moon seem bigger when it silhouettes trees and buildings on the horizon. I know it's incredible, but if you don't believe me, check it out for yourself. Go out and measure it. You may be surprised. I was sure surprised. An optical illusion, compliments of Mother Nature. Here's the 11 outlook for tonight. Increasing clouds, 50 to 55 by morning. Tomorrow, variable clouds as a weak storm passes off to our south. A few showers around lunchtime, 60 to 65. And the 11 outlook for the next couple of days, mostly sunny. Saturday, 59 after a morning low of 39. Sunday looks nicer, sunny and 66, back up to 71 by Monday. I guess I don't have enough to do out here in the backyard. Paul and Marty, I'm sure you scored perfect 100s on that little quiz, didn't you?
Paul, tell me, did that jet appear larger on the horizon or directly
It did.
overhead?
It did. You'd be amazed.
Just an optical illusion, Paul.
Everything is an optical illusion.
Thanks, Paul.
Good night.
Well, if you thought you missed all the fun in high school, this story will probably convince you that you did. About 252 students from St. Louis Park are out under the moon tonight, camping out in tents as part of their week-long celebration of homecoming. They worked all afternoon setting the tents up, but all work and no play wouldn't do, so they tossed a football around a little and even did a few flips. Presumably tomorrow, well, they'll be well rested and headed back to class, and if you believe that one.
Coming up on News 11 tonight, a happy ending for a traveling trio from the Dominican Republic.
And a positive attitude for kids with cancer. It's the best prescription, and we'll tell you why when News 11 continues. Stay with us.
Every day you rush, my lady. Every day you race.
Because a good night's sleep on a Sealy Posturepedic mattress can help ease the stress of the day, you'll experience your best after you experience Sealy Posturepedic.
Lady, every day you do your best and you do it with such grace.
Save 33 to 50% on our entire stock of Sealy bedding, including Posturepedic. Twin size starting at $99. Now through Monday at Donaldson's.
Make gigantic savings now during Carpet King's truckload sale going on at all 6 Carpet King stores. Make tremendous savings on Bigelow carpeting along with Ansel 4 nylon carpeting. Save 13 to over 57% on carpeting. Bigelow and Ansel 4 carpet are part of this huge truckload sale. Over 15 truckloads of carpet savings, including Bigelow and Ansel 4, now at all 6 Carpet King locations.
In the metropolitan area, there is one place where more open-heart operations are done than any other, the Cardiovascular Center of Abbott Northwestern Hospital. But it isn't the quantity of care, it's the quality that makes Abbott Northwestern the preeminent heart hospital in the cities. The preparation, the operation, the dedication is here. With skilled physicians, the best technology, and caring nurses, the Cardiovascular Center is one of the loving arms of Abbott Northwestern Hospital.
Down here, we like everything big. That's why we just love Red Lobster, because they've got the big deal shrimp deal.
Honey, Chicky, baby, it's big. It's bigger than big. It's a big deal shrimp deal.
Oh, it's so big.
Red Lobster presents the Big Deal Shrimp Deal with big value. 3 free shrimp when you buy 12. And big new shrimp tastes like Parmesan, Italian, and Cajun. The Big Deal Shrimp Deal.
It's really, really big.
Well, 3 kids from the Dominican Republic have a special place in their hearts for Minnesota. They underwent open heart surgery at the Variety Club Hospital at the University of Minnesota last week, and today they are doing just fine. The kids were brought here as part of the Variety Club's International Children's Lifeline program. The program arranges for needy children from around the world to have life-saving surgery, and the 3 kids' heart surgery was paid for in part by the hospital, and the surgeons donated their time. The kids will likely be returning home at the end of next week.
It looks like we may be finally starting to win the fight against cancer. Recent surveys show more than half the children hit with the disease are surviving. Doctors attribute the remarkable change in statistics to better treatments, pooling of information and knowledge of doctors from across the country, and to the positive mental attitude of the kids.
You know, if I would have given up on this, I wouldn't be here right now. And just that's what I should say is don't give up. Keep on fighting. Because that's the only way you're going to make it.
20 or 30 years ago, a child who was diagnosed, for instance, with leukemia would have had less than a 5 or 10% chance of long-term survival. We're now looking at well over 50%.
Doctors add with continued hard work and positive thinking, cancer will someday be a thing of the past.
Well, when we come back, we'll tell you how you can win money by naming a racetrack.
And the Twins are...